Hey friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our Half Acre Homestead. Today we're going to make honey garlic ribs. Since I've got all this wonderful garlic and honey, and this is my home dehydrated garlic, this is our home raised honey, and this is our home raised pork, so why not? So I'm going to make honey garlic ribs, and I'm also going to make roasted sweet potato with spinach. Now first off, we're going to cut apart these ribs to a certain degree, because now you can glaze the ribs as is, but you really want your ribs to be coated in the sauce all the way around. You want a 365 degree turn on your ribs when it comes to the sauce. So first we're going to cut these all up. These are beautiful ribs. I have not bought anything in the store that can equal home raised pork. I think it's time to sharpen this knife. And we are going to just pat these dry a little bit. You want the sauce to really stick to your meat. So we're just patting them dry. Trick I learned from Julia Childs when she was making beef bourguignon. All right. Now there's our meat. Let's make our sauce. Let's start with, I'm going to say, about a half a cup of honey, about 2 tablespoons of just plain white vinegar, about 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Now I use Bragg non-GMO verified. Now we're going to add about a half a teaspoon or a 2-finger pinch of coarse pickling salt. Then we're going to add a handful of brown sugar. You know what? The saucier the better, I say. I'm going to add more honey. There we go. So I'm going to say 3/4 of a cup of honey. Now we're going to take, I'm going to say about a tablespoon or 2 of garlic flakes, because we love garlic, and garlic and honey are really good for you. And about a half a teaspoon of black peppercorns. Okay, let's get that in there. Let's just stir this in and see what we got going on. Now remember folks, just because you may taste it, the sauce, when you mix it, it does not mean it's going to taste the same after it's cooked. Because remember, your pepper and your garlic and everything permeates the flavor after it begins to cook. So we're just going to mix this, and we are just going to drizzle this all over our ribs. And I'm going to put this in the fridge after a good coating. And I'm going to put this in the fridge, I don't know, for a couple of hours anyway. Kind of let this marinate. Okay, so let's get this in the fridge. I'm going to clean up and we'll be back to get the sweet potatoes ready. Angus, get down. Okay, now we're going to prepare our sweet potato. And guess what? I am going to use 3 of the same ingredients I used on the ribs. I'm going to use honey, garlic, and pepper. Why? Well, it's not going to, someone would say, now why would you do that? Because it would all taste the same. Well, pork and sweet potatoes have 2 different flavors, folks, 2 different textures. But we want our sweet potato mix to be nice and complementary to our dinner. under. And again, we're going to pat them dry because oil does not stick to a wet surface. This is baked sweet potato with baby spinach. Our honey garlic baked sweet potato with baby spinach. The honey and the baby spinach go in last. So first, we're going to take a couple of tablespoons of sunflower oil, folks, not canola, sunflower oil, and we're going to take just a couple peppercorns. You know, maybe a quarter teaspoon of peppercorns, and maybe a teaspoon of my garlic flakes, and a 2-finger pinch of coarse salt. Oops. Why won't that work? Fortunately for me, I have another grinder. Right, we're just going to dust this all over top of our sweet potatoes, and we're just going to toss them. We're going to pour them in a casserole dish, and that's how we're going to roast them. I'm going to clean up my mess, and I'm going to put this in the fridge so that it'll be ready for dinner later when I put everything in the oven, and we'll be back then. Alrighty. Now, our ribs have been in the fridge, and I am just going to lay them all on their side in this pan. This last rib to stir up our sauce here, and just kind of pour this over top. Okay, let's just see if I can slip this in here somewhere. If this pan was just a ½ an inch wider, there we go. And we'll grab a spatula, and we're just going to take the last bit of this sauce and kind of glaze the sugar and the honey all over this. I'm on my very last bit of foil here. So we're just going to cover this, and that's ready to go in the oven with our sweet potatoes. We're going to cover this with foil, and this is going to go in the oven for the same amount of time, which is about an hour. But, or 10 minutes before everything's ready, we're going to dice up an onion and toss that in there as well. And then when it comes out of the oven, we will add our honey and our baby spinach leaves, and we'll toss it together, and the hot sweet potatoes and onions will just wilt the leaves. All right, there we go. Hey, folks, a 2-pot wonder supper. Alrighty, now let's do some of the finishing touches on dinner. Let's start with the sweet potatoes. And I'm sorry, we haven't got my light up here yet. Now, I'm just going to put some finely diced onion in there, because this has got only about 15 more minutes to go. Maybe 20. And we're just going to put a daub of butter and mix that in. And then we're going to pop this back in the oven. Try not to mash it. Ouch, ouch, that's hot. My UV gloves in the laundry. Now, let's take our ribs out for a minute. The last 15 or 20 minutes, we don't want these to be covered with foil, for the simple reason is we want this wonderful sauce. Let's see if I can, we want this sauce to glaze up. They only fit in this pan one way, and they're only going to fit back in it the same way when I flip them over. I'm going to pour this sauce into a cup, holding it down. Now, here I go. I should have had the camera on the other side. There. And now I'm just going to pour this back over these ribs. And I'm going to pop this open-faced in the oven so that that will glaze up nice and caramelize. Then I'm going to go hop in the shower and get ready for Papa to come home. Alrighty. The ribs need a few more minutes, but our sweet potato now gets the final touch. The onions are just nicely caramelized. And what I've got here is some baby spinach. We're just going to kind of mix the baby spinach in with the sweet potato and onion and garlic and pepper and sunflower oil, butter. Okay, and what this is going to do next, we're just going to drizzle, oh, I don't know, maybe just a tablespoon of honey on top, going with our lovely meal. And then I'm just going to put this foil right back on top, keeping the steam in, and just wilting the spinach. All right, we'll see you guys at the dinner table. Now, if we can just get Papa to the table, let's just have a look. Oh, isn't that lovely? All right, let's dish it up. Oh, that's lovely. This is honey garlic ribs and honey garlic roasted sweet potato with onions and baby spinach. Do you want this plate?
What's this?
That is sourdough applesauce cake.
These pork or beef?
These, we don't have any beef ribs left.
We might downstairs.
These are pork. Actually, they're chop. Isn't that pretty? Now I want to take a pic. That's the new way of making. It's a honey garlic day.
Very good.
Okay, you got to try your ribs because everybody's just itching for you to try your ribs. Ain't that so, folks? Everybody just nodded. Yes. Watch it. They may be hot, eh?
They are hot.
Yabba dabba doo.
Awesome.
This is the Mrs. Wolfe from our half-acre homestead saying honey and garlic and home-raised pork. You gotta love it.